Hello again, this is Mario the Artist and Rogue. So this is going to be the ADHD edition of this video because I realized how scattershot my filming was. This is an Airbnb that I was staying at, so I thought I'd show this off. I'm going to cover a little bit more about this later, but here's just kind of a walk around of it, and it was actually pretty cool. I went to go help out at the Omaha Festival for Arts, I think is what it's called. I don't remember the name of it. But here, I'm going to go ahead and show you the basement, which this is an older home that they were updating. That's why this is so short here. What kind of fucking murder hole is this? Well, they are finishing it up. That's kind of cool. Wi-Fi. Huh. That's subfloor. That's kind of sus. That's new. It's always interesting to look at this kind of stuff. See what people do. Like this is odd. This kind of reminds me of stuff at the Nelson. Wow. Carpeted. This show has been around for, I think, 50 years. Ran by the same dude. And unfortunately, although it was nice to see everyone up and getting everything set up, this was its last year. And there was a palpable sort of vibe in the air. You could feel it among the artists and the other people. But I didn't stay there that much. I was helping with setup and then back to the Airbnb. Or so I thought, as I happened to cross this great gem. I just went to one of the coolest stores here in Omaha that I know I've been through here before, and I've stayed at either a Hilton or an Airbnb somewhere nearby, and I guess because I just was never paying attention, I never saw that place. It's incredible. This is called Pop Culture Exchange. I'm sitting right underneath it. I didn't get the owner's name. Very cool guy. Had a conversation about Super 8, 16mm, all this old film stuff, horror. It was freaking fantastic. And I went in, of course, repping. So, you know, had to show that off. Okay, so I got back and let's see here. First of all, the logo is rad. Pop Culture Exchange is the name of this. All right, so what did I get here? Let me see. First thing I'm gonna show you. I know this is weird for some people, they don't understand, but I adore broken toys like this. So for those of you that may be Transformers fans or something, this is, I believe, a knockoff of Rumble and Frenzy, the cassette Decepticons that would come out of Soundwave's chest. I couldn't leave this behind. He was only 99 cents. Yes, the head is missing. There was a spring in there clearly at some point, and the other joint looks like it may break off at some point in time, but he is going to live in my display case, and he will be something I'm going to be looking for a complete version of, but this was a well-loved, well-used toy, and I definitely want to hold on to this one. So, nonetheless, I also ended up finding a Switch case for carrying games. I have a couple of them. They go in these sort of Switch cases. And then this one here, Nintendo 3DS. I have a few loose 3DS games, so this is going to work out really well. A little bit of scuffs on it, but not bad. And then I ended up picking up this Willow figure. Now, I had kind of been on the fence about picking up these, but I never bothered to look at the back, seeing these. And I know Super 7 isn't going to be making these anytime soon. There was a lot of figures that I didn't expect in this set, and they aren't even showing any of the good characters, because I noticed a few other ones. And then I found this. It's been a while since I picked up anything Sega related. The owner of the store cleaned the disc for me and everything. It was one small scuff, but I'm certain it'll be fine. $10 for Le Mans. I have the short clear case version of this. I don't know why this is a tall DVD-like case. I don't know why. I need to do some checking on that, but I know for a fact I don't own this one. Now, when I went in, after getting all this stuff together here, The thing that got me was I love making a connection with people whenever they have an interest or a hobby. And I happened to be looking at something and I asked if this was a reproduction. Now, for anyone that knows me, my favorite animated Disney movie of all time is Robin Hood. It was the one that made me fall in love with animation completely. I didn't realize until much later. I had been talking to somebody about how the animation was done, and this Aristocats, and a few other ones have a very pencil-like aspect to the ink job, and that's because to cut budget and time, they scanned in the pencil work, darkened it, and that was the line work that's on the animation. So that is why that looks so lively and vivacious. Nonetheless, this is a silent and sound. It's got like 10 minutes of footage, I think, on this thing. This is a compacted down version. It is official. I asked about this too. I was like, hey, is this a real thing? I thought it was a repro, and he sort of laughs like, why would anyone reproduce this? This is a 16, no, wait, this is an 8mm. I believe it's 8mm. Let me double check here. I'm making sure. Yeah, Super 8 home movie. He had quite a few of them there. And I don't know if he reshrink wrapped this or not. I love this so much. I can't wait to check this out. I believe the camera or the projector that I have now will run this. If not, I'll be looking for one that will run this, but I'm pretty darn sure this one will work on that one at home. This one has sound, so it's gonna have a magnetic strip on there, but this will be a whole nother video covering this, and hopefully it does work. I'm so new to this, but it was really cool. I ended up, the gentleman that runs this store, man, I'm so embarrassed. I didn't introduce myself because I was so overwhelmed by the story he had and everything, and then just getting into the conversation. When people go into deep dives about their hobbies and their interests and their loves, I am wrapped with attention. I love the emotions and the enthusiasm that come forward with that. And he was talking, we connected with horror movies and all this other stuff. It was really great to hear this, and I learned quite a bit more. Anyway, so this is what I ended up picking up here. This was really unexpected. I did not expect to find any of this stuff. And it's always weird. As you've already seen, I found this other thing that was at a truck stop. Here, in fact, let me show you in case I forgot to record it. About to start filming, and this little guy pops up here. Hello there, sir. It's always nice to see a little bit of wildlife. Look at your little munchy self. Yeah, it's a cute little bunny. The goal for me this weekend was to have tried to work through a layout that I was having some problems with and finding time for that, and it really didn't work out like the way I wanted to, but that's okay. I ended up discovering some new stuff in Procreate and figuring out a couple different things that I thought scale-wise. The most challenging thing about working on a mural for me is, you know, if you, like, basically the areas are 10 foot wide by about 5 foot tall, thereabouts. And what ends up happening is when you're drawing on a 5-inch by 10-inch area, yes, you can get some of the layout figured out from there, but even then I had to bring bigger paper to work on. And that stuff, just the tribulation of drawing it out, I got to thinking, I'm like, well, the advantage to digital is that I have the ability to go in and edit endlessly, but I can also end up dragging out a lot of stuff for myself, and that I don't want either. That's a good-sized cat. Oh! Parkour. Oh, he goes where he wants. He does what he wants. And just a quick note, for any of you that ever stay at a place like an Airbnb, this is my own personal thing. Take the time to do the dishes if they don't have a dishwasher. Take the time to wipe down the counters. Take the time to clean up the stove. Take the time to leave the coffee maker open so it airs out and dries out. Always put any of the stuff you've used, like towels, there on the counter so they can find it. Leave the refrigerator exactly as you found it. No crumbs or anything else like that. I always leave the ice trays filled with ice just in the event they want it or something that's also a waste of ice if I throw that out. And I always take the trash out. If I can, there was no instructions this time, so I'm leaving it in the bag so they don't have to deal with any of my bullshit. And I just leave this empty and clean and make sure there's no debris down the bottom. If there is, I pick it out. It's the same edict I have every single time I go camping. If I go camping somewhere, leave it better than you found it. That's the whole point of staying at something like this, whether it's a hotel or an Airbnb. I get it, there's staff, there's other things like that, but this is kind of my own effort to counteract the sort of people that also don't like returning carts in a parking lot. Also, while I'm thinking about it, a lot of times I get asked why I have a carabiner when I'm at shows. I always carry one on me. It's for this. This is so much easier. I can make sure I don't leave a bag behind and everything stays put. This is also, I have hooks in both the van and the truck that I can hang this on. It stays off the ground, nothing gets crushed. This works really well. This is also a lifesaver for groceries because goddamn it, I'm not gonna make 52 trips back in and out of my house. After getting everything cleaned up, it was time to leave the Airbnb. It was a fun little place. I think it was a really cool place. It was nice what they're doing with it. So headed back to go help with teardown at the art show. And of course, I also found Voodoo Taco, which is one of my favorite places to eat. The food here is amazing. These are the zombie tots, and then these tacos. Oh my God, the tacos. After finishing that delicious meal and helping with teardown, it was time to get back on the road. Now, I genuinely love driving through the Midwest. I know there can be a lot of times when people are like, oh, these are just flyover states or whatever, or I hate driving through Kansas. Sure. But sometimes when you take roads off the beaten track, you find some really cool things. Now, I saw this on the way down and I was like, how the hell do I get over there? And I was dead set that when I got back, I knew the lighting would be pretty good for some filming or possibly some photography, just a little bit of urban exploration maybe. But when I got there and I went ahead and pulled over to get a better look at it, I decided, okay, let me get up here, walk up these stairs. And I was like, okay, it's kind of modern. It's not as old as I thought it was. Then I saw it cordoned off and I thought, you know, reckless me wants to go check this out. Zoom lens me is just going to zoom in and look at some of the details and kind of take that into consideration. Honestly, as cool as looking for this stuff is, you always have to respect land ownership, security measures, safety protocols, anything like that. Again, when I was younger, I probably wouldn't have cared as much, but I'm a lot more competent and a lot more cognizant of what's out there. And sometimes driving around these roads, you find some real treasure troves. Sometimes it's hidden businesses or old places. In fact, deep in the woods, I wasn't able to get back to it. There was an older car that was clearly from the 30s, buried in the trees, that I really want to go back and look, and it was kind of off to the side. So I know it's somebody's property, maybe, I'm not sure. But I love the overall look of the Midwest and driving through it. It gives me time to think and process things. And the weekend, for the most part, was pretty good for me. I worked through a lot of problems, as I had mentioned earlier, just things that had to do with art and other stuff. It gave me time to breathe, gave me time to just reflect and think. And this is a luxury I know not everyone can do. And it was just something low-key that I was able to do for myself. But thanks for watching and dealing with my ADHD editing. I'll see you in the next video.